Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome. This is NgoVo Convo podcast. I'm Harrison, and I'm joined by Veronica, who's over to my other side of the screen.
Hello.
Hello. Isn't it great, Veronica? I'm the lead today.
Yes.
Yes.
You are the captain.
I'm trying to keep her on her toes because we both wanted an excuse to talk about anything that entertains us, but really to clean up our never-ending backlog, which we actually do today. But Veronica, some would also say, we would say, that we're conversing.
Wow. Like NgoVo Convo, NgoVo Convo. Logos above Harrison's head. He's pointing.
Yeah.
As always.
As always. Because I need to remember how to spell sometimes. Yeah.
Same.
Yeah. Right? But you can watch every episode on youtube.com or listen to it as a podcast by searching up NgoVo Convo on your podcast service of choice. This video is also sponsored by Olipop, but we'll get to that later in the episode. But this is episode number 155.
Yes.
I say it, but it doesn't matter, actually.
Yeah,
I forget. It doesn't really matter because there's not like you have to watch the previous ones. The main thing I want to say is this is actually about... is it Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man? Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, which is on Disney+. And Veronica had to not really convince me a little bit, but she kind of did.
I had to convince a lot of people. Okay.
You did, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but the main thing is, like I said, it's on Disney+. It's only 10 episodes. It follows the typical Disney Plus thing where you see that it's like 45 minutes. It's not. It's like 30 maybe. Yeah, roughly 30 minutes. Long credits. So if you haven't seen that, we'll give our quick non-spoiler thoughts, like just kind of rough outline of what we feel about the show, and then we'll give you a warning about spoilers. So go watch that after and then come back. So, like, give this video a like, save it for later. That's what I do. Trust me, it works.
Do it. Pointing right at all of you.
But yeah, really quick, Veronica. You had to convince me, and I will be honest. Initially, the animation did seem kind of off. It felt like that really... Mm-hmm. I think it did feel different from What If, even too.
Oh,
but it
much
actually...
different.
Yeah, it felt much different. And I know some people were saying, like, oh, it looks stiff. Blah, blah. I was like... It actually, I was okay with it by the end. Like, I just got used to it. And it wasn't
got better. It got a lot better.
Yeah. And it felt, did it feel comic booky, I guess? Like, kind of.
No, I thought it did.
Not exactly.
Sometimes the panels were there for, like, comics, too. Like, they split the screen and, like, faces and stuff. Mm-hmm. So it felt very, like, comic book-like.
Yeah. I know some people compare it to, like, Into the Spider-Verse and all that, but again, that's movie budget. Yeah, you can claim like, oh, it's Disney. I was like, or it's Disney versus Sony. Dude, you gotta understand like budgeting. It's hilarious, but
it is.
It's a hilarious concept. But Veronica, thoughts? Quick thoughts on everything?
I must say, it was hard to convince people in this round, but I got through to Harrison. Another recommendation on the list.
It wasn't a hard sell though. I was ready to. Because it was Spider-Man. I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot. I do like Spider-Man enough that I'm like, all right, let's give it a go. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but at first the animation was a bit stiff, especially when they were doing like teaser trailers and GIFs and stuff on like social media. Mm-hmm. I feel like they like put out like the janky stuff, like the testers and stuff during that time.
Yeah.
But then as you like watch it, it looks and feels like a lot better. Mm-hmm. So that's how I felt. But I mean, I also enjoy Spider-Man and like his storyline and everything. So
yeah, and it's not exactly a rehash of his origin story. It's literally just he's a high schooler, and here's what I feel like I felt like watching was, for me personally, the 90s one. What it's called, because it really was just a Spider-Man anime show, I think. Animated series.
I think it was just like an animated series, right?
No, I think that's actually what it was just called. But it was like the 1994 one that was on Fox.
Yeah.
Fox Kids.
I remember.
At least that's where so that's the one. That's the vibe I got, but not as like super detailed as like with the comics. This feels more in line like with. It kind of has an MCU spin on it, but they still use Spider-Man's world a lot better, in my opinion.
Yes.
But
and it's not MCU canon. It's like the alternate universe.
And you can tell, so it does feel like not disconnected in a bad way, but it just feels like it's separate.
Yeah.
They'll pull like some aspects to kind of show like, oh, it's an alternate universe of the MCU, but that's about it. I think everything else about the show just feels like a very Spider-Man show. Overall, I felt like they used, like I mentioned, they used a lot of his cast and his rogue gallery very well. It's kind of like an introduction, but it's not like, it doesn't like feel like it shoehorns too much.
Yes, exactly.
So I felt like
you can know like the main details of what happens in Spider-Man or like Peter, but you don't need to go into details that much.
There are a few new characters that some people that don't read comics may not get, or they just added some new characters. I didn't have time to look into it because I kind of wanted to watch this like with new set of eyes, like not knowing it, just going in blind essentially. But overall, I thought it was fun. I thought the action was good. I thought the story was good. I thought his arc for this was actually pretty good. And there's a lot. If you've seen the trailers, you've seen some twists and all that, and we'll get into the spoilers for that. But overall, good.
And I love the intro. Like every intro, for every episode, like lines up with like what's going to happen in the episode.
And
which I really like.
Even like because initially I just skipped to it. I skipped through it, and then it would end on like the quote unquote
like the
cover
panel.
book. Like the comic book cover. And that was already cool. So
that's what I really enjoyed. So I thought they were like really smart about that. Yeah. And it's been renewed for season 2 and 3. Yeah.
And I can't wait. Like I actually want more of this. Like I finished this, I was like, wow. I already can't wait for season 2. Like as I think, when did this finish? Like a couple weeks ago, no?
Almost like a month ago. I think 3.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Yep. February 19th. Yeah. Oops. Well, that's fine.
It's fine because finally I have someone to talk about this with. I was watching it like almost weekly, like basically bi-weekly. So I could watch like 2 episodes at a time.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah.
But overall, I recommend this I think this is a very good show just to keep. There is no point of entry. I think that's the main thing. If you just like Spider-Man or you just want to watch something about Spider-Man, just go in. Yeah. Like I think that's the one refreshing part after like being burnt out by MCU for a little bit.
What do you mean?
I'm gonna be honest. I felt burnt out.
No, and we have been burnt out. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a nice change of pace. It was fun, and I think I always, maybe this is some bias towards for me. I always feel like the animated stuff kind of just goes deeper into like comic book stuff, like, and it just feels more. They could do so much more. It feels like, and that does come with like live action is kind of hindered by doing the action part.
Yeah. And I think they convey it a lot better in animated series. I mean, all you really need to do is just get voice actors, like all the actors to be voice actors, which I think is like easier than like, you know, you doing like a live action, everyone on set, you know, schedules aren't really conflicted there that much. So I think that's why this animated series worked really well. I mean, lots of cameos that I won't go into.
We'll go into in spoilers for sure, because oh my gosh, there is a lot of stuff in here I want to talk about. So if that's it, we're gonna just jump into spoilers real quick. All right, cool. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See, I can count, Veronica. I can count down. I don't just skip numbers. Okay,
you gotta go to 5 to 1 because you're thinking about 4, 3, 2, 1 in your head.
Your mind's moving too fast. But yeah, spoiler mode. Spoiler alert. Talking about spoilers.
Spoiler mode, yeah.
That's where we're at now. I need help. Oh my god, I'm tired.
Oh god.
All right, let's just go, dude. Okay, there's a lot, so we're just gonna break it up like usual. First thing I want to mention is the amount of characters in this show is actually crazy. Like,
it is a lot.
It is a lot, and I was kind of like, okay, like I do enjoy how they did his stuff. Instead of Tony Stark, it is Norman Osborn that finds Peter. So I'm like, oh yes, keep it in the Spidey universe. Like, that's awesome.
Yes, that was really cool. They did turn Norman and Harry black, like they're African American here.
Yeah, and I think that's fine. It's not
that's fine. Yeah.
It's fine because it was that one thing when this is why I kept referencing the 90s one, is because their hair in that one was OG comic style, which is actually kind of weird when you think about it. It was like that weird red, like, because it wasn't ginger per se.
No, but it was like that brown red.
But it was like strictly like it almost looked like
I know what you're talking about because I can envision his hair.
I just remember it being in this weird pattern. Comment down below. I don't remember what the pattern was exactly. I just remember it being specific, and I was like, oh, okay, cool.
But you are right. It was not ginger, but it was like this brown red hair.
And it possibly was meant to be. I don't know because this was me as a kid, right? I need to look it up, but it just had that weird pattern. I swear to God. But maybe I'm crazy, and I was like, because I was like what, 7, 10?
Like we were like 7 or 8, yeah.
Yeah, maybe 5. I don't know, but no, I thought they race swapped. So I thought that was fine because I think how they portrayed it was interesting how they portrayed not betrayed, but what kind of portrayed.
I was like, we could go to betrayal.
We could jump to it right away. It was cool that they made him like kind of like this. I want to help the world, blah blah blah. But I knew it was a front kind of deal, right? Yeah. For a split second, I'm like, maybe because he was the guy behind the desk for like an episode or 2.
Yeah, like 2 episodes. Yeah.
Yeah, which was
and then
really
he was like
interesting.
Being, like so nice and like
yeah. But I actually had fun watching that relationship throughout the whole season, and it was just like a nice way
Norman
to
and Peter, or Norman and Harry.
Both, but initially Norman and Peter.
Yeah.
But then the offshoot of like, oh, now they explain why Harry and Peter are good friends.
Yes.
Like it felt organic for once,
which I enjoyed, and I love that Harry is like this like rich influencer.
But in today's time, that makes sense though.
Yeah.
Some people may find it cringy, but at this point, what else would he be doing? They don't want to make him too smart, right? Yeah. They can't make him like, what are you gonna do? Honestly, it felt realistic in the current age.
No,
I'm okay with it. I'm fine with that. I thought it was funny because it added to like, yeah, he's rich, so that's why he's doing all this stuff. Like, what was it? Him and Nico, that whole like driving scene. I thought that was hilarious.
I love how he's like, do you know how to drive this car?
Yeah.
The expensive
she
car.
Didn't know how to drive. But it's like New York, so it made sense, right?
No, yeah.
Yeah. Also, Nico's funny too. Actually, like she was actually a really fun character to have along.
I love her, and I love her like superpower that they incorporated throughout the like second half of the season.
I didn't even notice. I guess I just.
Oh yeah,
like,
it's like super like witchy.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Granted, I did have this in the background, so at times I may not have noticed.
Not looking.
Yeah. Well, I told okay. Well, honestly, as of recording, I told Veronica I watched the entire thing yesterday, and I did.
Yes. He was on a high.
I binged that so hard because I was like, I have all these reports. I'm just gonna have this in the background.
Yeah. Well, that's a good way of watching it.
But it was good though.
Nico has powers.
Yeah. By the end, I got it. I was like, oh, shoot. And I know I looked up that part at least because I was curious. I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. She is like a character. One of the newer ones, probably. Mm-hmm. Comment down below. Make sure I'm not crazy. But I don't, because I honestly haven't read, I never really read like Marvel stuff as much. I read like all the big events, but
not like these little like tiny ones.
Yeah. But any other characters that you wanted to bring up? Or any, go.
I mean, it was really nice to see Daredevil.
Yep.
Which I was not expecting Charlie to voice it. Yeah. Yeah, I really wasn't, but it was really nice to hear.
I think it's one of those things where as of now, as of recording, Daredevil's coming out.
Yes,
And I think I think it's like at the point, it's like, oh, we got him. Let's just start using him now. Let's just go. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And granted, he was only in for like 5 minutes in 2 episodes. Not even.
Like one episode and then like a couple lines in the last one.
Couple lines in the last one, yeah. So like 5 minutes, 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
But that was a nice cameo. The other one was Richard Parker at the very end of season 1.
That's crazy.
That's a nice cameo from the voice actor Josh Keaton.
Yep. That was crazy. Because it was Josh Keaton, I had chills and I was like, oh
yeah,
shit.
I know. When I had to re-listen to that last part because I was like, I know this voice and it's so familiar. I was like, I know this guy. No, but I think that cameo was really nice. So it's just kind of like a full circle for him, I think.
Yeah, it was cool because it was like, of course, it was like, yeah, I know, like he's one of the fan favorites for Spider-Man because it was was it the Spectacular Spider-Man, I think.
Yeah, he was in that.
So I know like everyone like loves that. Because again, I didn't grow up watching it because I'm not gonna date myself too hard, but I already did. It's too late.
You already did.
Yeah.
It's too late here.
It's too late here. So I thought that was really cool. I thought that was dope. That was a nice hook, if anything. But
or cliffhanger. At the very end. It's a cliffhanger.
I do want to drop like other characters too. Like I think, of course, they include like the general. I can't remember his name all of a sudden. Holy shit! I had the list up too. Anyway,
we're bad at names.
It's like they had the typical MCU characters, like, and of course, but I think what was the nice twist was a lot of like Doctor Strange or like Iron Man had like their OG like classic art like look.
Yeah.
But they didn't keep Captain America's classic look, which I think is fine. That is totally okay. Because his old thing...
I stared at that frame for a good, 30 seconds. That man is buff. That man is buff in this. If you just pause it at the right time, you just...
Not wrong. But...
Just saying.
My favorite surprise villain for me was Doc Ock. I did not but just scientist Doc Ock. Like he's actually just not
he's not even
evil,
Octavius.
But he's not like
Yeah.
Do
you like the bowl cut? That bowl cut made me laugh so hard.
I'm just happy they kept it. Because if they kept other things classic, that's fantastic. They kept that classic. I'm like, yes. Do it.
Scorpion for me was a surprise. I was not expecting that to go so hard.
And so this was my hook to my brother, at least, right? Because we were talking after. I'm like, okay, for those that like the old 90s one, you would enjoy this. One of our friends does not believe us. So, unfortunately. But then I told my brother, I was like, okay, you know what this gave me was understanding how other villains are really cool. Because I think I got this vibe from like playing the Spider-Man 2 on the PS2.
Oh, okay.
Where it was based on the movie, but not really. Because all this side stuff was like introducing all these side characters like Scorpion or like Electro and all that. But they had that. But it felt like that too, where it was like, oh, hey, there's all these characters like Tombstone got introduced.
Yes.
Super interesting. Like I did not expect
how they turned that.
How they're flipping that.
Yes.
Like you feel for the guy though. You're like, oh, this makes sense. And it's like him and Peter were actually, or him and Spider-Man are cool, but him and Peter are also cool. It's weird.
Yeah.
So
it's a weird overlap.
There's a lot
for sure.
Anyway, all these characters. It was just nice to see them actually incorporate a lot of Spider-Man people. Yes. And not just like a quick, like, hey, there's going to be a quick villain. All right, we're done. Or like, hey, look, there's not the Rhino, but
Oh, God, not Rhino. No, but it was nice to see Scorpion stay in most of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was just actively, part of the season.
He slowly became the big bad, which I was like, oh, that's actually cool. And he actually, and I think it's not that I enjoy Peter getting beat down, but it adds to the character of like, hey, look, he is a hero, but I think that's where Spider-Man's, honestly, people enjoy Spider-Man because it's like he does get beat down, but then he comes back and powers through it. So,
you know what my favorite part was when Spider-Man and Norman were like trying to figure out his suit, and they were like every like scene he would like have like something different, and he would be like, "Oh, this is not working out great."
But it's so it's such a corporate view of like, hey, we're gonna try all these things out.
The one that was like fully black and he was hiding in the tree was hilarious.
I love how Norman's like, honestly, I saw that one coming.
Yeah,
it's fine. Because then they landed on the. Would you say that was the Future Foundation one? Future
I
Foundation
think so.
suit.
Yes.
That's, or at least. Yeah, no, it is. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I had to double check,
it
but
is.
it looks like the Future Foundation suit. So I was like, oh, that's really cool. But I did enjoy that episode where they were just showcasing like all the different suits, but also like ideas of like how it, like initially it's like, oh look, I kind of feel like I'm Thor.
Yeah. Or he's like, oh, is this what flying feels like?
And who would have thought? Just ended on the classic just Spider-Man suit.
Just
but not there yet. Not there yet.
Yeah, no, we're not there yet.
But I did like how, and it was funny because I think Harry was like, I don't think it feels kind of, and then Peter's like sterile, and I'm like, yeah, that's the word.
That is the word.
That's the exact word. But before we get on, because I know we're getting super deep into this, start talking about plot and stuff slowly. Let's take a quick break. Talk about our sponsors.
This episode is sponsored by Olipop, the soda your gut will thank you for. Yes, I'm talking to you, all of you. All right, have you ever missed that classic soda pop feeling? You know, the fizz, the flavor, but without the sugar crash and the guilt trip. Yeah, me too, you too, Harrison too. All of us. That's why I'm introducing to you Olipop, the soda that's bursting with flavor and good for you too. I actually have my favorite one here, strawberry vanilla. But the other weird one that I enjoyed was banana cream. I know, it's weird, super weird, but this is my favorite. Number 1, because it only has 3 grams of sugar per can, plus it has 9 grams of prebiotic fiber. And you know what you need with fiber? To use the restroom. Hee. But yeah, that means that you're going to have a happy and healthy gut with every sip. And it looks like that they took everything we loved about classic soda and upgraded to a modern, healthy conscience person. Like you, like me, like Harrison. My co-partner. My co-host. That's not here right now. So ditch the compromise and experience the soda revolution for yourself. Don't forget to use our promo code NgoVo15, NgoVo15 to get 15% off your first order on drinkolipop.com.
And we're back.
Wow. Drink that Olipop. Or water. Whatever it is.
Well, now that you mention it, I'm kind of thirsty. Man. I know we kind of started talking about the plot slowly, like some parts of it.
Yeah.
Is there anything specific you want to touch on that portion?
I was actually so surprised about the internship and what each kid was doing for like the end to happen. That was something like I wasn't really expecting. So I thought that was a cool twist.
Yeah.
And it's also really nice to hear Alex Le just voice acting.
Be low-key DJ.
Yeah.
He does play a really good Amadeus Cho. I thought it was really funny. I thought how they spun it was really good.
Yeah. The atypical Asian kid just acing his way through life.
Jesus. Low-key into EDM. Actually,
yes.
low-key. I'm like, this is very Asian coded. Yeah, actually, I did not expect that. So I actually thought right when Osborn was like, oh yeah, I was trying to find out who this Spider-Man kid was.
Yeah.
I thought it just ended with, I just kind of boiled down to 4 kids and just went with it. And I was like, so I actually thought that was it. I was like, wow, that's a solid plan.
That's how I felt too.
And then he became more mastermindy and kept going.
He was like, "Mohahaha."
You know that now that you mention it, this show, like plot wise, it did a really good job in just making a full circle.
Dude, that time loop was crazy.
I
Crazy.
didn't think about it because at the time it's like, oh look, well, it's because I forgot it was at the very beginning. It's like, oh look, he got a spider from a different universe. Okay, yada yada yada. It wasn't a different. It was just a different point in time because they already developed the spider.
Yes.
And it went back in time. I was like, oh my god, this is really good. This is crazy. Because then Strange was like, oh, I don't know what the effects are. I'm like, all right, that's crazy.
Yeah. No, that was really cool. The time loop. And I think it's just like how Norman, how much of like you said, like a mastermind he is, like a mastermind.
They show that he's really smart too. That's really what it is. He's actually smart, which I think is really cool.
And they did cameo Goblin's like stuff. Like
slowly. Yes.
Slowly, yeah.
That is actually one of the really big things I enjoyed about the show was they didn't just jump into it right away. They didn't just make Octavius into like Doc Ock right away, right? They established what happened to him. They didn't make... I was actually worried they make Norman into Goblin by the end. They didn't. Me too. They didn't. I'm like, this is great. Keep going at this pace. This is beautiful. I love this. Yeah.
But you know, he was wearing green suits a lot, and so was Harry.
Yes,
Harry was wearing dark green.
Yes.
So I'm like,
yes.
Which way are we going?
It is there. It's like how Goblin are we going, right? Like you said. Yeah,
exactly.
Because at one point doesn't, and this is from the 90s, right? I'll keep pulling this because that's where most of my exposure came from. Like Hobgoblin, for instance. Like,
yes.
Do one of them become it?
I know.
Do you know what I mean? It's just like there's so much. There's so much potential.
I mean, we'll wait and find out in season 2 or 3, whichever one.
And can I also point out? I love the parallel that they show between Lonnie and Peter, like the whole time.
Yes.
Literally, like from the first moment, it's like and I'm pulling this because I saw someone explain it, but then I couldn't stop seeing it throughout the show. It was like. Literally after they said goodbye after school, they walked in different paths. Oh,
yeah.
And it's in a parallel of like, oh, what could be? How their lives are different. But they want the same thing.
Yeah.
Like Lonnie's still successful. It's just unfortunate that he tried to cover route. He initially just covered for his brother, but then eventually did stick with the 1/10.
Yeah. Which I find, I mean, I wasn't surprised. But it just was different.
It initially did kind of feel forced a little bit.
Yes.
But then I think I just kind of had to come with the assumptions of like, he's like, because Lonnie was all, they throw hints of it, right? Like Lonnie wants to cover people, but he can't fully do it.
He can't, yeah.
Or like he needs to get it right. No, it's not that saying getting it right is bad, but you could tell like it just adds to the effect.
Yeah. No, I totally agree.
So. And how far downtown, or I guess how far he is from the school and all that. Mm-hmm. So, but he still got into like Harry's. He was on the list for Harry's new company though.
Yeah, which I thought was really cool. I was like, oh, okay, Harry, you're not just an influencer here.
He's still using he has investments, yes. Yeah. But part of me was like, still technically Daddy's money.
It's Daddy's money.
That's the part I was like, oh, yeah.
Did you like May here?
Yeah. She just felt, it felt like that's the MCU portion. It just felt like MCU May, if anything. Mm-hmm. It didn't feel that much, like it felt not that much different yet. But I think the ending can lead into some differences now.
Yes.
This is where I'm like, oh, this is
so different.
Like going to see his dad, I was like, okay, now this is crazy.
Yes.
Because do you remember if they established, and people can comment down below just in case, I don't remember if they ever said if his parents were dead or not.
They didn't.
They didn't say anything, right?
They did not say that. No. Nothing.
Okay.
But it was a surprise because I was like, oh, like, you know, they're grieving. Sometimes they just won't say it in movies and stuff and shows. So that's why I thought here. And then
but it was just grieving over
It
Ben.
was just grieving over Ben. Yeah.
Can I also say I thought, and they might be doing this later, who knows? The Spider-Man or the spider that they were at the time when Norman got the blood sample and everything, and then Spider-Man. So the blood sample, I don't know if they use that for the spider or if they're keeping the blood sample. And I'm saying this because initially I thought that spider was gonna be for Ben Riley, right?
I think so.
Or let me see. Give me a second. I can't remember names.
I think I know where you're going with this.
Like the it was like essentially the clone Spider-Man.
Yeah.
The Scarlet Spider. Yeah, that's what it was.
Oh.
I'm just saying it could happen because
it's animated.
It's animated. They do a good job. They keep pulling characters like Into the
do.
Spider-Verse did too. So I have high hopes. But it's like I don't know if they used the entire blood sample for like that one spider.
One spider.
They could pull this, and I'm just saying there's so much potential of like how far they can go with this.
I guess we'll wait and see.
Oh man. Did you I didn't expect what's her name to be Daredevil psychic, even though she was sus.
Oh yeah, one of the interns.
I say psychic, but like one of the interns was like infiltrated.
She's a spy. Yeah.
I see again. I realized
I was not familiar with her.
Yeah, I was not familiar with the character. So comment down below. But if that was a twist too. I was like, because I noticed that one time she was sneaking, but they never addressed it ever again.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I felt like she was just curious when she was like sneaking around.
No, I thought that was too sus.
But then I also felt like it was very sus in a way. And then they just never did anything with it.
Yeah. I was like, oh, that's weird. And then the break-in happened, and I was like, oh, okay. But then it just seemed like Daredevil, so I'm like, oh, I didn't connect the dots at all. So
yeah, me too.
Again, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm unfamiliar with her. Maybe I'll start looking her up.
Yeah.
We got Spy on our hands. Yeah. See where season 2 goes with it.
See, and I guess for me personally, it didn't feel like it was too much. It just felt like they like sprinkled in things here and there.
Yes, it was nice.
And just like, hey, look, this is a thing. Yeah. That's cool. So.
And they did it in 10 episodes. 10.
Yep. It was. It's great. I was like, wow. Instead of the 6, even the 8.
Or the 8. Yeah.
Like, sometimes 8. I was expecting 8, but it was 10. I was like, this is actually a good amount of. It didn't feel like it was too much. I think that's.
No.
If that's what you were going for, it felt like it was enough for me to get attached to the characters, but enough to introduce enough plot points or possible future plot points that I actually can't wait for season 2.
I think 8 would have been too short. I think we needed
I wouldn't say too short, but I guess maybe enough to get by. But I feel like this wasn't like, because I can't think of, maybe someone may feel otherwise, but I can't think of an episode that I could do without.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that's, for me, I feel like I can't.
Nothing was like a filler episode to me here.
And I think it's because if there wasn't a filler episode, if there was filler content, there's still something overarching that was happening. Like Peter was always doing something.
Yeah.
There may have been stuff happening like, oh, I want to go to a movie, or oh, look, there's like this friendship, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. I think that's still important because I think the relationships in Spider-Man's world is always fun to keep up with.
No, I totally agree.
Yeah. And I think they still kept like the same. It's like it's all the same plot points, right? The theme for like an initial Spider-Man is like, oh, he's rising up to understand how is he going to be his Spider-Man, like what kind of Spider-Man he wants to be, what does he want? Because I do like how Norman gave a totally different answer, like that he should embrace the power.
Yes.
But then Lonnie still stops him. I was like, dude, that's
like, a good
there's
parallel
consistency.
Too. Yeah.
Like, even though Lonnie's in a bad spot, he still thinks that Spider-Man needs to not. He could be better.
He could be better, yeah.
Which I thought was such an interesting take for all that. Because considering how Tombstone is, didn't expect that.
No. I mean, he hasn't even turned, like, he was named Tombstone, but he hasn't turned into it.
And he just got his power, right?
Yes.
So it's like, it's on the way. And again, I love this pacing. We're building things up. It's not like you're just getting shoved into like hey, here's Scorpion. He's a Scorpion, dude.
Yeah. Here's a kid. His name's going to be Tombstone. He has powers.
Yeah. It's like, it's building it up. And that's why I was like, I think I understand why a lot of people enjoy this as a Spider-Man show. Because I do feel like the world building is really good.
Yes, I agree. And people are missing out. Cough, cough. Just saying. That's
why at the beginning I tried to tell people, like, you can just jump in and watch this. I think, and if we're going to do a quick thing, I think the animation initially felt stiff, but then it feels, I think it doesn't feel as bad.
They got momentum, and they built it up from there.
I think for me though, it's actually not even that. It wasn't like the animation got better. I think it stayed the same. It's just the style. I got used to the style of animation because it's
quirky.
It's like quirky. Yeah, it's different.
But it's not bad.
It wasn't bad. No.
Yeah.
It's not like maybe I'm just more loose about this stuff now. Back then I was more anal about animation
You're
quality.
probably like,
but I think
it should be like this.
Yeah. But then now I'm like, oh, it feels like an art style and it's fine. I think I enjoyed this more than like the What If style. The What If felt very like experimental and still
like blocky.
Yeah. While here it feels if it feels blocky here, it is with intent.
It's with purpose. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm trying to think if I have any like criticisms on this. And if I do have one, maybe I think it's because if I were to criticize something not knowing, maybe the amount of characters and stuff going on could be the flip side. Like there's like the whole like, but
it could be too much.
It could be too much.
Yeah.
That's why I was saying maybe the 10 is a lot. Maybe there is. That's why comment down below if you feel otherwise. Because I think the amount is good. Because I don't think it should. If it shortens it, I think it'd be too. Now that we know what we know, it'd be too short. I think that's why you're saying 8 would be too short. Because considering how much we've watched.
Yeah.
Because there wasn't that much drama. If there was drama, it was literally the first 2 episodes. And that's when I told you, I was like, this is like the cringe high school drama. But then the rest of the season.
That's why I was like, go to 3 and you'll
you were right.
Keep going.
I hate that I said that on record.
Yes, I get to keep this.
Oh, man.
Finally on record.
Actually, it probably has been on record a few times, but I'm not going to admit anymore.
Until next time.
Yeah. I just hope that they keep this kind of pacing for season 2 and going forward. Because
I agree.
Again, they could do this great now, and then you typically, you've seen other shows like they'd have a good first season, but then second season,
it's like
they try to do more.
Yeah.
Or the direction changes and it's a flop. So, yeah, we'll see.
I'm excited for season 2. It's supposedly supposed to come out next year. They want to do one like around once a year.
Okay. Yeah. Can't have the Into the Spider-Verse curse, right?
What do you mean? What do you mean?
That's whatever. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine. On that note, you got anything else?
No.
No?
We recommend it. That's all I gotta say.
Recommend it. Again, I said it at the beginning. I say it now. Good show. Love it.
Yes. Agreed.
I can't tell if there's Spider-Man bias because the more we talk about it, I was like, damn, there's possibly some bias, but I'm just gonna go with it.
Like it's fine.
It's fine.
You enjoy Spider-Man. It's fine.
I do. But on that note, thanks for tuning in. You can follow us on all our socials at NgoVo Convo and NgoVo Convo. If you're on YouTube, comment down below. Like I said, whatever we got wrong, whatever you thought, like, did you feel like it was enough? Did you feel like it was too much? Did you like all these characters? Did you not? Let us know. And then all the buttons, hit it from right to left. Subscribe, right to left, subscribe. Yes. That's the main thing. Other than that, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.